today I'm going to do a book review. I'm actually indoors right now because I'm trying to figure out my new laptop. I got a new laptop like 2 weeks ago. I got the MacBook Air from Apple, and I wanted to try out the camera, so I'm going to test it out on a book review. So this book review, I know you guys saw the title and was probably like, oh my gosh, she's going to tell us some cool stories, but no, this is just a book review of the book called Tales of a Female Nomad. And this book is by Rita Golden Gelman, and it's pretty much, it says, living at large in the world. About 306 pages. It's not very long. It's a very thin book. The main theme, well, the type of book this is it's a travel book. And this is actually a true story by the author. So the author, Rita Golden Gelman, I'm reading my notes. I organize like the best way to do a book review. So, who is the author? Rita Golden Gelman, and she is the person who this story is about. So it's her own story of her travels. The contribution that this book is trying to make is telling her story as a female in a world where females don't usually are not usually advised to go out alone and travel on their own in this world. So I'm going to do a little short summary of this book. Yes, she's a 48-year-old woman who is in the midst of a divorce. She is thinking to herself, like, okay, what do I do? Like, what is something that I've always wanted to do, but I have not been able to do because I've been married? And so while she's going through this divorce, she decides to sell everything that she owns and pick up and travel the world. So she picks some of the places that she has always wanted to go, but has not been able to because she's been married. She was a wealthy woman. She had a wonderful, wonderful husband. She was living a very well off life, very wealthy. I think she lived in LA, and she was well off. And you'd think, oh, she should be happy, but she actually found happiness through travel. Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Israel, the Galapagos Islands, Indonesia, back to the US, Canada, New Zealand, Thailand. And so that you can just see throughout the index or whatever. But so this is pretty much about her travels and her discovery of selling everything she owns to go and be a female nomad, and it's pretty much telling her little stories. My overall analysis of this book is the way that I found this book was I was going to go to Thailand. I was going to go to the Philippines, and I did go to the Philippines, and I was searching for a book to read on my travels so that I could be sitting on the beach and just reading my book about traveling. And I started reading the description of the book online, and it gave you like the first chapter or so of the book, and I just could not stop reading it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to order this book as my travel book for when I go to the Philippines. And so it turns out that I start reading the book on the plane to the Philippines. I get to the Philippines, and I read a little bit more, and I only read like maybe 1/4 of this book, and it's a small book. 1/4 or 1/3 of the book. And it's actually really, it starts out really good and really strong, but it started getting a little slow towards the middle, and I got kind of like, okay, this is kind of drowning out, and I just felt like the beginning like caught you, but it didn't keep you caught. And so I was like, oh, but I also it turned out that on my travels in the Philippines, I was having so much fun that I didn't really get to my book anyway, so it kind of worked out that my travels were more interesting than the book's travels. Her insights into traveling and meeting people were very interesting to me. While it didn't keep my attention in like through the middle, there were a lot of quotes and things that she said that really ran home, or whatever you call it, to me. It stuck with me because I was able to relate to her as a traveler and someone who enjoys traveling. Um, while she didn't keep my attention in like the speed and the pace of the book, she kept my attention just wondering if she was going to say anything else interesting that I could relate to. So I'm going to read a part of the concepts that she really made me like think, yeah, like I really, really relate to this. Okay. So there was a part where she talks about becoming too involved in a culture. And what I really enjoyed about her was that she wanted to travel and not really try and change people, but more of experience their life as they live it. And she really made a good point about, because like for example, you guys have seen my travels. However, you might notice that I do my best to try and not change people, but at the same time, also not trying to judge them as anything. But at the same time, that's very difficult because you're always going to carry where you came from and have those thoughts in your head that um, the way you do something is like your way, and the way someone else might do it might be wrong. And I made a video about this, about things just being different, and she brings up a really good point that I really enjoyed. So I'm gonna do a little reading of a few sentences. But I have become too involved. It is not my place to change their lives. I am here to learn from them, not to alter their history. I have adapted in many ways to the pace of and lifestyle of living in Bali. But I will never be a Balinese woman, or a Mexican, or a Nicaraguan. I can live in other cultures, celebrate their rights, love their children, but I must constantly remind myself that my background will always slant the way I see things. When I am tempted to change who they are or rush what they are becoming, it is time to move on. And I really, really enjoyed that because I really like that she tried to engulf herself into the culture, but she still recognized that she had her perceptions of things. And when it was time where she felt like she was trying to change them, she realized it was time to keep moving. And she made some good points in that area, and she really engulfed herself into the culture. She practiced things that, we here in America would not condone. She engulfed herself in the culture and the religious rites and traditions of people who practice things like a lot of spiritual spirit work and things like that, that she engulfed herself in, that wasn't normal to her, but she actually accepted the culture and really embraced it. Another thing is, like regarding spirituality, she said, and I often think of the invisible world filled with spirits, both good and bad. If it exists in Bali, it must be in Seattle too. But I feel so distant from spirituality here in the land of Microsoft. And it really like makes you think about your life back home compared to your life in another country where there's not a whole bunch of technology, and feeling like you feel more spiritually connected when you're in another place that has less technology and more of nature based. And that's something that I really connected with this book with her, because that's kind of something that happened to me while I was in Korea. I was walking around a lot in nature and seeing a lot of nature, and I feel really spiritually connected in nature, compared to that of being inside a building. The last thing I want to touch on is another thing that I really connected with, because I want to show you guys that this book, while it did kind of lose my connection in the pace of the book, some of the ideas in the book really did make me want to keep reading to see what else she had to say in her point of view. So, I had a video about riding cars with strangers, and I know a lot of people like said some good things and said some bad things about the video, but I really connected with her in this book because she the way she thinks is the way I think, and it's really interesting to the way it turned out in this book. Some people asked her. Oh, I'll read the story, not the story. I'll read a paragraph. People often ask me how I have managed to have so many interesting people experiences in my nomadic wanderings. It's because I trust. I always have. It's not something that has developed with experience, though perhaps with constant reinforcement I do it more often. I've never been disappointed, though I have sometimes been surprised. I know there's a risk, but it's one I'm willing to take. My life is constantly enriched because I trust people. And I really connected with her on this. Like, I've had some really amazing experiences because of trusting people. And I have also talked a lot about some of the experience that I had that were kind of what I would label negative. But even in those experiences, I've learned a lot. So I wouldn't say that I would regret those experiences. So I really connected with her on a lot of different levels. So my conclusion is my final judgment on this book is I think that if you're interested in traveling and the nomadic experience and you want to see someone's take on it, I think this is a good book to get. It was 16,000 won, 16,450, so around $16. While the book does catch you in the beginning and then kind of like drown out a little bit, I really like some of the things that she said, and if you've traveled, you can kind of probably relate to some of the things. So I think that the book was well worth buying and reading, even though I did feel like, she kind of took a while to say what she needed to say. It kind of went on for a while, but I really did enjoy what she did have to say. So that's my review on Tales of a Female Nomad by Rita Golden Gelman. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, actually, before I say goodbye, because I always do this, please comment below your favorite book. If you have a travel book, that would be amazing if you commented below. I know you guys like Eat, Pray, Love. I read the book, but I'm not going to get into that. But please comment below. I always go off on tangents. Please comment below on your favorite book. If you have a travel book to recommend me, please put it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.